To anyone who thinks that they want to try vaping or they want to continue vaping, I would just simply say it's not worth it. What it cost my son that summer, he's still sort of figuring out the measurement of that. But it had ripple effects in his life that he'll feel for a long time. It was heartbreaking to see my son struggle so much. He's a great kid, but he's a kid, and he sometimes makes decisions that are not wise. He sometimes takes risks that I wouldn't take as an adult, and you never want the worst thing to happen for your children. And when he got this sick, that was awful. Like, why did my kid make these choices? What did I contribute to his decision-making process that led him to this place? It was a very, very hard time.
I definitely thought at first that nicotine in general wasn't that bad of a substance. Uh, Growing up as a kid, you're told countless times that nicotine is a terrible substance and that you shouldn't really introduce your body to it. But at the time, it was also cool. It was a fad. It was a big thing amongst all of my friends, and I didn't think much of it until after the fact. I think I did understand the amount of nicotine that was going into my body. I just didn't care at the time. Like, I realized it was pretty much drilled into my head that a pack of this or a pod of this was the equivalent of an entire pack of cigarettes. And the thought of that wasn't really that much of a hindrance. It was more of just, I have access to it. I like the way that it feels. I'm just going to do it anyways.
I learned about vaping in, I think, eighth grade when my friend's older sister had vape. After a while, vaping just became part of my life. It was something I did when I woke up in the morning, right before I went to sleep, all day long. I'd like sneak it all the whole time throughout the day. It just became part of me. Vaping made me feel sick throughout the day. Sometimes if I did too much, it'd give me a headache. And the summer going into my freshman year of college, I got hospitalized because of vaping. I was diagnosed with pneumonia. My experience in the hospital was horrible. I was in the hospital for 7 days, and I was on oxygen for 6 days. I didn't eat food for 10 days. I lost 30 pounds. I didn't have the muscle or strength to walk. I had to I couldn't breathe on my own. I had an oxygen mask on, and then they put the tubes up my nose just so I was able to stay alive.
And I'll never forget one time he had to go to the bathroom, and he took that off and took this oxygen mask off just to walk to the bathroom, which was a few steps away. And immediately the nurses came into the room because his oxygen level had dropped that quickly. That's how bad his lungs were in that moment. And that's when we realized just how serious this was.
One of the doctors looked at my x-rays and hadn't met me or read my file yet, and he thought I was an 85-year-old man, and then came in and realized that I was 18 years old, and he was really freaked out.
What I would say to the vape manufacturers if I had a chance, quite honestly, is shame on you. I understand they're a business and they have a right to come out with products that they can sell to make money. That's what businesses do. But the vape products, when they were first marketed, were clearly targeted at young people, at children and at teenagers. They were designed to be almost invisible to the unknowing eye, where it would look like a USB B charger, so that you could stick it in your pocket and it would look like all your other school supplies, so that you could use one without any trail of smoke. That it was flavored like bubble gum and chocolate and other things that would be enticing to kids. Come on, shame on you. I guess I would want to say to young kids whose parents are nosing into their business or checking out what they're doing or seeming to check up on them, it's not because they don't love you. It's because they do love you. And sometimes when you're a kid and you make risky choices and you do things that really could have serious and life altering consequences, if not even life threatening consequences, not trusting you and not trusting you at your word can be the biggest act of love that a parent can show.
When somebody is vaping, they're not only inhaling nicotine, but they're also inhaling other dangerous substances like fine particles, harmful chemicals, heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead, and even volatile organic substances like substances you would find in car exhaust. And you can only imagine what inhaling those substances into the delicate lung tissue can do as far as immediate damage and long-term effects. Okay. To say vaping is safe is just crazy. Thousands of visits to the emergency departments with lung injuries and illnesses, as well as many deaths, have been researched and attributed directly to vaping. Nicotine is very addictive. It's been shown to be more addictive than cocaine and even heroin. If you've ever known somebody who was a smoker and tried to quit, you might have seen how difficult it can be. Generations of people have tried very hard to quit smoking over and over again and have failed. 7 out of 10 smokers say they want to quit but cannot.